Today is very much going to be a plotting and planning Lego City update as I take where we've got to over the last month or so, and there's no denying the fact that over the last month or so, this Lego City has improved massively and actually looks a lot more like a Lego City now. But there are some areas that we've highlighted in recent videos that we're not completely happy with, and they're the things that I'm hoping to, if not completely fix, make a start on fixing today. And one of those areas is this situation we've got around Diagon Alley. I like the idea of having Diagon Alley hidden. I really like the way that we've got the access to it through the little archway, the little alleyway that we already have as part of the detective's office. What I don't like is the way the setup we've got currently means we have this like half base plate width strip of dead space. That, combined with what we've got going on here, I think are two parts of the same problem that we've got. Because the issue we've got here is the way the train track runs, with it going down the middle of the base plate, we don't have room to fit road in front of this row of buildings, or road over the other side, and then we've just kind of got this full base plate worth of gap just for a train track, and you don't need a full base plate for a train track, so we're kind of wasting another half base plate of width here as well. And I am hoping that we can solve both of these problems together. That's what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is, first job, we swap over the police station and the detective's office. We want the detective's office to move further back, so the alleyway is further back as well. We're then going to move this row of Diagon Alley so it's back to back with the row of modulars that we've got in there. That eliminates the issue that we've got at the moment of them being open backed and us being able to see. And a few people have suggested we fill in the open backs. Long term, would love to. Short term, it's a lot of time and money and bricks that could be spent elsewhere for something that we're not really going to see, especially if we're smart with how they rearrange the city. So we're going to move that part of Diagon Alley along. We're then going to shuffle the other part of Diagon Alley along to make up for it, remove a half base plate width worth of modular building, which is easier said than done because we don't have any halves in there. It is just too wide. So we might have to go to 1.5. We've got a few half width buildings, and we've also got a few 1.5 widths like Assembly Square, which we don't really want here. But we've got the Natural History Museum that we've currently got around the front. So there are a few that are 1.5, but we basically want to take that depth down to 1.5, I think. And then we can have this all moving along a bit and still have that part of Diagon Alley backing up against those buildings. That allows us the space to get the road plate in alongside some embedded train track, and basically do it the same way we have up here, where we have the train track embedded into the road, which I think I also want to do for the first part of the side bits as well. And we basically have this smaller inner loop become a tram loop that's embedded in road, and then we can put a little fence in to separate it from what is effectively the main line where the big train is going to be running. And then where we've got this row of buildings in front of the train track at the moment, I think we're going to move them and put them kind of down the side a little bit and have a row across the back, but have this effectively be the beginning of the town square area. So we might end up moving the town hall down into this row as well, so it can be a big part of the town square. But we basically have the row of modulars that will be half a base plate further back with a tram line and a road in front of it, and then a load of open space, which would allow us to give some open space to the botanical garden and start setting up our Halloween fun fair that is going to be on the town square for the next 6 weeks or so until the Winter Village comes. And that'll obviously take up the haunted house that we've got over there. We've got a few bits that we brought in from home as well. So we have got the new haunted house, the new Creator 3-in-1 haunted house. We've got Arkham Asylum, which I think is a short-term thing, could become part of the Halloween area as well. It looks like it would fit into a Halloween area while we figure out what we're going to do with it long-term. And we can include some of the funfair rides as part of that as well. And rather than having the modulars across like that in front of the train line, have them running across there, maybe have some more running across here, and then the town square area in behind, leading into where we'll still have Castle Hill, we'll still have the little seaside area down here, which we have got. The Italian Riviera is here as well to come into this area. And yeah, that's the plan. So we need to get some stuff shifting, which is going to involve moving a lot of modulars around, because we're going to need, I think we have we've got a half base plate modular in there already, so that can come out. And in fact, that's another half. Let's go round. I think we've got a bunch of half base plate modulars already on that side. So what we can do, so that is one base plate with the Jazz Club. This is attached to the Jazz Club, but that's a half base plate modular and that's a half base plate modular. So one of them can go over the other side and then it can narrow up here. And then over there, we need to remove the police station and put one of those alongside it. The police station's going to have to potentially come where Krusty Burger is. And Krusty Burger can go down into the town square area, because it was only ever really temporarily there anyway. And then we can close up that gap for Diagon Alley and then free up some more space here. So I think I have a plan. Let's see if it works, I guess. Which of course means I am back in my natural habitat of moving modulars around and ripping up train track. And there's lots of me standing very still in this time lapse, trying to work out what to do, because I think I've finally hit a problem. Right, I don't know where I'm getting my train track geometry wrong, but I am somewhere. And this has been ongoing for a few weeks now, because we've now got this situation. So I've removed an entire modular rather than half a modular, and for now squashed Diagon Alley together like that. And I actually don't mind it. Yes, it's a little bit dark down there. There's not much of a gap, not much of a scene. But actually, when you look at it through there, you can see both sides of it. And when you look at it from above, it looks like an alley rather than a street, which is what it's supposed to look like. It is an alley. So I actually don't mind it like that. It is a little bit of a, I can certainly see the argument it's a little bit of a waste of a £400 Lego set, that you can't really see very much of it. But like I say, it's kind of the point. But that's not what the issue is. The issue is here, because doing that has allowed me to move everything back a base plate. So that's the edge of where the modulars were before. We've moved it back a full base plate, which allows us to get a road plate in and then bring the train track back here, run the curve around there. All makes sense until you get to here and we have a gap. And that's where I start to get confused again, because then we've got this issue of, I think we're out by half a base plate between the two sides, because if you look at where the turn starts on this side, it starts with a third of a base plate to go of that last modular. But if we come around this side, I guess the curve is starting there. The curve is starting in the same place. It's just the base plates aren't lining up. So whereas on the other side, the base plate stops there, on this one, for whatever reason, in my infinite wisdom, I've put an extra half base plate in. But actually, I think it does line up. But if it lines up, why don't we have that gap this side? Or will we? When we put that curve in, we're going to have to remove Sesame Street because the curve's going to come across here. We might just have to, have we got room? See, the problem is the two tracks next to each other on a base plate under there as well. I don't understand how, if we can get the two tracks lined up there, we've got the two tracks lined up there, they're all attached to base plate, why it won't line up here. I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what it is. And I've tried just filling the gap with some of these little bendy spacer things. So that gets us some of the way there, but doesn't give us enough room to put another one in. I guess we could maybe do something to try and solve that problem at this end. But I am starting to think that the entire problem stems from the fact that that edge there doesn't line up with that, or that edge doesn't line up with that. And it's because it doesn't line up at that end, it doesn't line up anywhere. So I think we might have to adjust the entire loop, which means we're going to have to adjust both loops so that the edge, so that we've got the back of our modulars lines up with where the straight track ends. Problem is, if we do that, then this loop, which at the moment is perfect and fits beautifully, that also needs adjusting because they're on the same base plate and they can't be adjusted independently. It all stems back to me not setting it up right to begin with and kind of botching it and being like, that's future Kev's problem. Well, now I'm future Kev and now it's my problem. And I know there is a section of the audience who will be like, Kev, take the train track out. Kev, take some of the train track out. No, the trains are the best bit of any Lego city. When we've got the Winter Village in, we're going to have a third track running around this bit with the new Winter Village train and the new Winter Village train station that I bought yesterday. So we're adding more trains. We just need to get them right. I guess I carry on fiddling. This is 100% something I should have done when I was setting up the new layout, but I just got so caught up with the excitement of just getting the shape changed that I never bothered to actually line up the base plates properly. And it's completely a self-inflicted problem. But luckily, now spending the time to get it fixed, and we should be all good once it's done. Right, we're getting somewhere. This isn't necessarily what I had planned for today. It's slower progress than I hoped, but we're actually doing things right now. So you can see at the back on both sides, the back of this base plate lines up with the back of that base plate. There it is on the other side there too, and that means all the way down, the base plates line up properly, which means we can now get a proper corner in. Somehow we've still got little gaps, and I don't really know how we've got little gaps. I think things probably just need a little bit of shuffling and jiggling around a little bit so they drop into place and fill the little gaps, which obviously once we've got roads linking stuff up, that will do that job. But doing that means it will remain modular. I want to be able to get to the point where I can take out any one base plate and work on it individually. When I'm putting the detail on these roads, I don't want to be leaning over the table to do it. I want to just take each road plate out, finish it, and then be able to put it back in again. So that's why it's important for it to be modular, and it means that we will have a straight line along there where all the base plates line up. Obviously, you can put a half base plate in here, and yeah, it's... You get the idea. That's exactly half a base plate there. You could slot that in there. It is a straight line. What that means is we now don't line up with the other loop. So we are going to have to adjust the other loop. That's probably going to be a job for another day. But to demonstrate, that would go in there, and then we are left with that same gap we've had all along. So I think in reality, what we're going to have to do is all of this is going to shuffle 4 or 5 studs along, and then it'll be fine. And actually that probably is for the best, because this bit here, this is where the sea is going to be. So this area here is going to be, we're going to need to put a bridge here for the train to go over the sea or the water on a little bridge. And with only 4 studs there, we didn't give ourselves a lot of space for a bridge, but similar to what we've got on this side to allow us to put the Castle Hill back in. If everything is like there, that gives us a little bit more room to fit a bridge in. So it probably does all work out for the best. But now we've got that shape in, I'm going to try and just rearrange. I'm going to have to get those in and then rearrange this front area. And I basically want to get to the point where we've got an open space that we can start putting our Halloween town square in between doing all of the detailing and tidying up at this end, which will happen as and when. Obviously I need another modular to go up there now. I've moved the town hall down here as well. The Natural History Museum will be part of the town square, I think, is the plan. We might move the Lego store up there or something. We'll move something up there. Probably when it's not Halloween, the haunted house will go up there, which was the original plan, because it's a tall one, keep it up there out of the way when it's not being used for Halloween. But obviously for the Halloween display, we want the haunted house front and centre. Oops, SD card was full. Everything just stopped abruptly. Right, let's get you back up here and work on finishing off the train track loop, the outer loop, and then get something like an arrangement in place. An arrangement? A layout, that's what we call it. Now, after once again being distracted by trains, I just need to finish off getting the train track in place, and I can actually get on with what I planned to do today, which, as you can see, is moving some modulars around and getting some of the new builds that I've done recently into the city. So Arkham Asylum is going in, the Italian Riviera is going in. Right, we are getting somewhere now. We are getting somewhere, and I'm pretty happy with it. So remember, nothing here is finalised positions, but we've got that inner loop fixed in place. We've got the outer loop now fixed in place as well, which has allowed us to just plonk some buildings down in sort of placeholder positions. So I've put the Lego store at the back there for now. And then this is what I was trying to describe at the start of the video. So we have the town square kind of starts here. I don't think I'm going to be keeping that bodega there. It's just there as a placeholder for now. But we want quite a large entry with this L shape in the corner. And this is the plan I had for the L shape. The Natural History Museum into Arkham Asylum, into the X-Mansion, and then a little row of residential buildings. So we've got all of our little townhouses. We could then maybe even go into the smaller houses that we've got as well. And then this area here is our town square area where the botanical garden is part of it. And at the moment, we've got the fun fair for Halloween is in town. Obviously, very, very temporary placements. That corner will still be Castle Hill. So we've got the castle over there. And this corner will be our seaside village town thing. The thing I particularly want feedback about is Arkham Asylum, because obviously with it being an inverted corner, it is quite difficult deciding exactly where to put it. There's an argument to push it forward a little bit more and have it, let me show you, have it so it kind of protrudes even more so that you can properly see the sides of it. But I think it's probably better with that side pushed level with the back of X Mansion the way it was before, but then it is a little bit further forward ahead of the Natural History Museum so you can see the details of the gate and actually not have it completely closed off in the corner. So I'm just going to shove it back. So I think I like it best like that for now. Obviously minifigure placement, they've all just thrown on both X Mansion and Arkham Asylum at the moment. But I like the idea of keeping the superhero stuff together. So we've got, I know they're Marvel and DC together, but we've got a big superhero situation going on there. And then obviously we have another superhero situation going on back there. And in fact, a lot of that half of the city becomes like fantasy silliness because we've got Sesame Street in there as well. And we've got the up houses over there. So we almost, if Diagon Alley was a bit more involved, we'd almost be keeping all of like the pop culture stuff together. But I don't mind it as it is. I think that's pretty good placeholder. Obviously, we'll get some proper town square stuff in. We need to get some trees, some greenery in. I've still got some more buildings to bring in from home. I've brought the Italian Riviera and Arkham Asylum today, but we've still got the tree house to bring in. I've got a dozen castles. I don't know how many of them are going to end up here. We need to get Castle Hill built as kind of a priority, but we also need to get a Halloween display done before Halloween. It's not going to be there for very long. This is where the Winter Village will go as well. So once Halloween is done, I think the haunted house will go up there. Everything else that's part of the Halloween display will go away, and the Winter Village will take over this town square area. And then it will just kind of be rotating things there throughout the year. We might do a big market there. That might be where we put an Animal Crossing area at some point. That might be where we put a bigger theme park at some point. But this whole area, including I think probably the seaside area, the plan is kind of this end of the city gets kind of locked into sort of a permanent placement. Obviously things will move when they need to move. And this end is constantly evolving and changing seasonally and with what I feel like building at the time. But I think from where I was halfway through this video, where I thought I was just gonna be fiddling with track the whole time, we've actually got a lot closer to what I planned to do today, which was kind of testing Arkham Asylum in a position like that. And I think it's passed the test. So I think this is getting a little bit closer. Obviously, there's still loads of detailing to be done. We need to get loads of base plates down. We need to sort all of the stuff I've been threatening to sort for months. But structure-wise, we edge ever closer. And I'm pretty happy with it. As ever, let me know down in the comments your feedback. Anyone who has been watching for a little while will know that I really do take the feedback on board, and a lot of what you see behind me is directly off the back of feedback in the comments. So make sure you let me know your feedback down below. But for now, if you've enjoyed the video, please leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for loads more Lego content. Thank you very much to all of our wonderful Patreons. And of course, Brick prize draws over the back there, who do have a prize draw at the moment for an Arkham Asylum. So that's worth checking out. And I think they've got a few other bits and bobs, some more goodies going on as well. So make sure you check them out. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I need to go and have a lie down.